Alan Shearer would hate you.
Crazy. Very true. Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Before we go, we obviously need to do our taxi. Anyone got anyone in mind? Can we put that dopey Newcastle kid in again?
I mean, you can if you want. Wasn't he crying last week? I think Eddie Howe's gone this year.
It's lost its spark, isn't it, that project? It's not as exciting.
They're signing Mbappe. They still got Dan Burn left back.
They're bigger than Newcastle.
No.
They are.
No, they're not.
They've won the trophy more recently. They've won more league titles.
I wouldn't consider that.
They've won a trophy more recently.
I can't rule it.
Hello everyone, hope things are well. What a time it is to be a Newcastle United fan. One win in our 2 remaining games will guarantee us Champions League qualification for next season. If Newcastle do a hard task and win both of their remaining games, we will finish second in the league table. We will actually finish behind Liverpool this season in second if Newcastle can win their 2 remaining games. What a season this has been. And bear in mind as well, this is a Newcastle team that has been heavily held back by FFP. We haven't spent in 2 full summer transfer windows. We haven't spent anything. We've been able to seriously get a lot of our team now. Fair play to Eddie Howe. Fair play to the players. Let's just make sure we get Champions League football for next season. But the sky is the limit. And as you saw in that little intro snippet there, Rory Jennings, the club, after all the years of smack you have been talking about Newcastle, on a personal level, after the past few weeks of people over at the club calling me out and saying anything they want about me, you just knew, anyone that's been subscribed for a little while now, you would know that I would be coming back after that Chelsea game if Newcastle had got the result. Of course, if Chelsea had won the game yesterday, Rory would have stuck it into every single one of us. So now that Newcastle has won the game, karma at its finest, and we are here today. If Rory or anyone at the club is watching this video, it's just a laugh. Don't take the video too seriously. But of course, we are here now to just enjoy ourselves, to take it all in, and we are going to see the meltdown that occurred on the club live stream yesterday as they were covering the game. But let's start off with, I guess, a bit of a weird conversation that we're having on the show.
He's sitting there in the ground in a shirt, not playing as a professional footballer. Like, it's an epidemic up there. They all wear kits, don't they? It's an epidemic. They all love to go in fancy dress. Why do they do that? Like,
Well, you want him in a suit? You want him in a suit?
50-year-old, big fat boys in an extra large kit. It's mental. Why are they all doing that? Can't they just get dressed like adults?
Oh, the game hasn't even kicked off yet, and he's already not happy that Joe Linton is wearing a retro Newcastle shirt, and he's not happy at Newcastle fans for wearing Newcastle tops. Now, it's not just Rory, by the way. This is actually something I get quite a lot from more Southern fans or fans of, I guess, bigger clubs. But they always take shade at Newcastle fans for wearing retro shirts, especially older fans. But, like, it's a football match. I'm wearing a football shirt at a football game. I don't understand why people get so triggered about what people wear at football matches. Does anyone care? It's not like, for example, I'm going to like a wedding or I'm going to a funeral wearing a Newcastle top. I'm going to where you're supposed to be going wearing a Newcastle top. So I don't know why he's upset about that. Yeah, taking shade at Newcastle fans and taking shade at Joe Linton for wearing a retro top. We haven't got off to the best of the starts here on this live stream, but the game will then commence, and within 2 minutes, Sandro Tonali has put the ball in the back of the net.
Come on, boys.
That is a horror.
Yeah! Tonali! Bosh!
Sandro!
Bosh!
Annoying, isn't it? It's really annoying. What a shame.
Needed that. Come on,
A
boys.
minute into the game.
Come on.
A minute into the game.
It's going to be 6. It's going to be 6.
I felt quite confident today.
Yeah, you.
Off to a fantastic start. If you guys enjoyed that reaction, just wait until you see the reaction from the second Newcastle goal. Even the lads in the club are rubbing it into Rory as well. They want to see Rory feel. The Manchester City fan, in his best interest, he probably wants a draw from the game. And even him wants Newcastle to beat Chelsea just to rub it into Rory. So, yeah, the lads are enjoying themselves. I think everyone watching the live stream, everyone that's came back to watch the live stream after the game, are all there just to watch Rory's reaction. We're enjoying it so far. Next up, Nicholas Jackson decided that he's in WWE. He's going to start putting some elbows into Botman. Let's have a look at the red card reaction.
Idiot Jackson. He's such a idiot. He shouldn't have played for Chelsea. He's so useless. He's just absolutely useless. Like, do you know how we now pretend? I don't know if you've ever had this at your clubs, when the standards are just reset to such a low level that you pretend Nicholas Jackson is a good footballer.
Yeah.
Like, Nicholas Jackson is so. Then he does stuff like this. You're 1-0 down away at St James's Park and he does that. That's not a professional footballer.
No.
It's like,
so
are you...
Nicholas Jackson, if you are ever in Newcastle, send me a message. I'll buy you some free pints. Like everyone in Newcastle will buy you some free drinks after that yesterday at St James's Park. All joking aside, and to be fair to Rory, what is Nicholas doing? Biggest game of the season, massive 6-pointer, elbows up. He's even looked at bottom before he's put the elbow in. VAR is always going to catch that out. Straight red card, you can't contest that whatsoever, and now he will miss the rest of this season. Rory's even went as far to say on his video regarding the games, even went as far to say that Chelsea's season is finished. I mean, that's an overreaction. It's 100% not finished, by the way. Chelsea, in my opinion, is still going to finish in the top 5. Man U and Forest are nice fixtures. Chelsea should be winning those 2 games. Top 5's in their hands. Champions League football's in their hands. If they finish in the Champions League and win the Conference League, that's quite a good season for them, in my opinion. Might be perhaps a bit lower than they would have wanted, but Champions League qualification is still Champions League qualification. So, yeah, that's definitely a bit of a clickbaity overreaction. But, second half, Bruno wraps the game up. Let's take a look.
Who, sorry? Ruud Gullit.
Ruud Gullit in that...
Oh! It's over! 2-0 Newcastle United.
Bruno Kamara.
That is fantastic.
I think that might be an amazing goal, but it went in
lucky,
really weirdly.
so deflected.
Did it
deflected.
deflect?
So
it went in-
deflected.
It had a weird loop.
So
on it, didn't it?
deflected. Yeah, the trajectory's
Bro.
mental.
Look at that. Bosh.
2-0, man.
Doing it for the Geordies out there. Come on. 2-0. They're third, and it's basically the end of the season, and they won the League Cup. It's mental.
In all of my years watching Newcastle United, that has to be one of the most satisfying opposition fan reactions I have ever seen towards one of our goals. That there is the money shot. After all the years of him and people on the club wanting to see Newcastle fail, after all the years of him talking smack towards the likes of the True Geordie, of course, Newcastle related, and after the past few weeks of him calling the likes of me out, just rubbing it Newcastle, saying something's a bigger club, Newcastle, saying that Newcastle are never going to win trophies. Just look at that reaction. That is beautiful. That is the moment in the game where Bruno wrapped it up. To be honest, I felt like the second goal probably didn't deserve to go our way, in all honesty, but we're taking in the moment. It is the literal definition of wrapping the game up, and at that point, it was the realisation the game is over. All the Chelsea fans started to leave the stadium to go home. Rory, that is karma for all the smack you have said throughout your time on YouTube towards Newcastle. Take it in, everyone that's watching this video, because that there is karma, and that there is someone who has had this coming for him for a long time.
They're third, and it's basically the end of the season, and they won the League Cup. It's mental.
Yeah, mate, this puts Eddie Howe in serious conversations about manager of the year. Serious conversations. Ah, fuck.
He'd win it. If City had won the Premier League title this season, he'd win it above Pep, I think. Do you know what I mean? Because it's more of a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, because of it on the slot,
I think.
Yeah. Very lucky.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, it's better than Slot. Pound for pound. Because he's had to get these players to a level that are above them. He's like Murphy, etc.
Huge deflection off Gusto.
Pound for pound, it's the best managerial achievement in the country this season.
Winning a trophy for Newcastle, the first trophy for 70 years, and getting them into the Champions League spots again, I think you could easily argue, even with Arne Slot's achievement, it's better. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I don't think it's a hard point to argue.
We should discuss it maybe, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. They've said something nice about Newcastle. They haven't got any more excuses. They can't say Newcastle hasn't won a trophy in so long because we've done it this season. They can't say Newcastle is not good enough to be a Champions League side because we are sitting in third with 2 games left to go. The excuses are gone. It doesn't matter what they say. They haven't got an answer to what Eddie Howe has been asking them. Eddie Howe, second time in 3 years, Newcastle is set to be in the Champions League. Should have been the 3rd season in a row we had European football, but of course Manchester United had our ideas last season. Eddie Howe, 4th, 7th, between 2nd to 5th in his first 3 full seasons at Newcastle. You can't deny it. One of the best managers out there. He's got so much out of Newcastle's team and our squad of players. You can't argue with it anymore. There is nothing you can say in a counter argument to suggest that Newcastle does not deserve to be where they are now, because they 100% do deserve to be here. It's a team that's had a massive growth since the takeover. And yes, we have spent money, but nowhere near the amount of money as you may think. It's nowhere near City levels, Chelsea levels, Liverpool levels. Newcastle and Chelsea both spend money, but Newcastle buys quality, Chelsea buys quantity, and that showed yesterday because quality won Newcastle that game. Newcastle, in my personal opinion, yesterday, attacking quality wasn't the best, but because of how good the team is and because of individual pieces of quality, we still won the game. Newcastle spent less than Chelsea, but we've spent quality over quantity, and that's a lesson Chelsea hasn't learned. And yes, they may still finish in the Champions League, and they probably will finish in the Champions League this season. But Newcastle's team, in terms of our starting 11, is better than Chelsea's. Our team is better than Chelsea's. Of course, Chelsea have a massive squad. Newcastle have actually got good players in there, and I think not many of Chelsea's players would get in Newcastle's team. A few of them would, but not as many as you may think. And between the two teams, the gap's not that far apart. So, Rory, you can sit there all you want, but this back and forth between Newcastle and Chelsea, get used to it because we aren't going anywhere. And on a season-upon-season basis, we're probably going to be bumping into each other in terms of football clubs a lot. So get used to it. Get used to seeing Newcastle do well. You haven't got any excuses anymore. Any negativity, you haven't got the evidence to back it anymore because Newcastle is a serious team and Newcastle have done well for themselves this season. But coming away from this video now, of course, a couple months ago, I did make my video towards Rory, and I've never actually seen this video before until a couple of days ago, but I've seen that he's actually made a video from when Newcastle first qualified for the Champions League a couple of years back about why he hates Newcastle United. And it's the most infuriating video I think I've watched in a long time. Now, I'm not going to show the video because, to be honest, you don't want this video to drag on for too much longer. But basically, the reason why he hates Newcastle is because we spend money. We spent a lot of money since the takeover, and he doesn't like, I guess, the natural growth of the club. So someone want to tell Rory what team he supports. Chelsea are the biggest spenders out there. In terms of Man City and Chelsea, I'm pretty sure Chelsea spent more than Manchester City. You couldn't have picked the worst club to support to have the argument with someone else. Chelsea, in terms of progression as a football club, I've never seen a club spend so much money. The problem is, again, as I mentioned before, you guys don't buy quality. If Chelsea buy quality with all the money that you have, which you probably should have, then Chelsea probably would be winning more league titles. They would be in the high stages of the Champions League. They would have done what they've done a few years ago, and they would have been back in a stage like that. But Chelsea haven't spent on quality. They've just spent. Every single transfer target we want or someone else wants. They just buy with no long-term strategy of how they're going to fit into the team, no plans of what they're going to do. You're rich. You are rich talking about Newcastle spending money, and that's the reason why you hate this football club. I think it goes much deeper than that. I mentioned in my previous video about that. Obviously, he hasn't had the best experience of the true Geordie in the past. Of course, all the lads up at the club have left Brian after he got cancelled to do his own show. Obviously, Brian is a Newcastle fan, so in my personal opinion, I think this Newcastle hatred is probably stemmed off that. So everyone at the club obviously wants to see Newcastle fail because they want to see people like Brian not be happy. So, yeah, that's my personal opinion, but sure thing if you don't like Newcastle spending money. Walking away from this video now, the point of this is not to have a Rory debunking video to go through his opinions on Newcastle and just to completely pick them apart. The point of this is, of course, to see his reaction from the game yesterday, since he was live streaming the game, to see what they felt like during the Newcastle game and after everything they've said about us, everything that we've seen over the years from them. That yesterday was the moment where we just saw it all collapse. We saw it all fall apart in the guy's hands. We just saw his reaction to the game. He knew everything he said over Newcastle is just disappeared in his hands. And wow, one of the most satisfying reactions I've ever seen to any Newcastle game from an opposition fan. They've had it coming for a long, long time. You'll sit down there, you can be as unhappy as you want, but you can't do anything about it. You'll sit there, you can react, you can talk, you can say whatever you want, but you can't do anything. Newcastle will continue to progress, they will continue to do well. And as I said before, they can sit here every single season and have this back and forth because this is where it's going to happen. Newcastle are going to continue to do well, they're going to continue to progress as a football club. We've won silverware this season for the first time in my lifetime. This, of course, if Newcastle finishes in the Champions League spot, probably is the best ever season we've seen as fans in a long, long time. So Newcastle is a progressive club. They will continue to be better. enjoy it. Enjoy the ride we are going to take you on. And one final message to the club. Stick around, but you can't do anything about it. Take it all in. You've had this coming for a long time. Karma is a bitch. But yeah, take care, and we'll see you all in the next one.